Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to be showing you the basics of hair punching. I'm just going to run through some equipment quickly. Main things you will need are hair, a punch tool, and some material to punch into. This is silicone. Part A and Part B equal measures with equal deadener. So first off, I'm just going to run through quickly how to make a punch tool. This is the handle from a ventilating hook. You can also use one from an X-Acto knife, whatever's easiest for you to get your hands on really. This is a normal sewing needle that has been cut in half, or the eye has been cut in half. I don't know if you can see that, hang on. There we go. You can use a Dremel tool, or what I've done here is just get pliers, you know, the wire stripping part, the cutting part from pliers, and just snip that in half and then sanded it down at an angle and just made sure those points are really nice and sharp. There we go. Perfect. Has anyone tried making their own tools? How did it go? Did you use a Dremel or the sanding method? Let me know. Drop your results in the comment section. So, there we go, just see that quickly. So I've got my punching material, my silicone. And let's see what hair. So I've used a hair mat. Let's just zoom out so you guys can see that. There we go. So I've used a hair mat just to keep my hair in place and stop it from being quite so fiddly. Just keeps things nice and neat and keeps your area nice and neat and tidy as well, so you can work more effectively. I'll zoom back in so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, by the way, let me know if you can see or hear me okay. Again, just let me know in the comments. I want you guys to be able to hear and see this demo properly. There we go, wait for that to come into focus. So I'm just going to take some normal human hair for this first one. And you can either, for punching, hold it in a loop to punch, or lay the hair flat. Now, the main thing of this is, whatever direction you want your hair to lay, you want to punch in the opposite direction. So let me just show you. I prefer using the lay flat method. You also want to just take 1 or 2 hairs at a time, maximum. I'll tell you why in a second. I'll just go through the directions first. So if we zoom on this again, so hopefully you can see it a little bit better. So if I want the hair to lay this way, I'm going to come in with my hair from this direction. Punch it in like so. So you can see it automatically springs back on itself and it lays in the correct manner. There we go. Lovely. So the way I like to punch, say if I was making an eyebrow, punching hair into an eyebrow prosthesis, I would work from the outside in, and that's because mainly just so you can see what you're doing. So I'll just show you quick. Oh, apologies, that slipped out. There's one. So I would then go on to work this way. And that's because, sorry about that. That's because if I was to then start working this way, I'm trying to punch on top of already existing hair and you can't really see what's going on then. So yeah, it's easier to punch this way rather than going back on top of hair that you've already punched. Let me just show you the loop. I mean, it does work. It's entirely your own preference, really. If I'm going to loop, though, I do like to pull a few out. And then, what I find with the loop method is I can never quite get the entire end of the hair in. So that's why singular method works best for me. But again, it's entirely your own preference. So there's a couple of do's and don'ts, really. So like I said, singular hairs, you can do a couple at a time. Now I've got it in the loop, I might as well carry on. So you can do a few at a time if you're trying to build up volume. But it does look, oh, sorry. It does look far more realistic if you've just got singular hairs rather than a clump. So let me show you what happens if you punch loads at one time. Let's see if I can get a real load. Yeah, there we go. So not all of them are punched in, and you also run the risk. It hasn't happened here, thankfully, because I've got a nice, clean, sharp punch tool. It hasn't happened there, but you do run the risk of ripping the material that you're punching into, particularly silicone. Yeah, you can see all those loose ends, so nothing's really punched all that effectively. Just clear that away. Just clear that out of the way. Also, when you're punching, you want to pay attention to the angle of insertion. So as you can see, I've been going an angle here. And that's because the hair lays in a much more natural way. If you go directly downwards, the hair, it's quite hard to see here, the hair stands all of the way up, which might be great for volume in something like punching into a full head, like a full mask, but it would be quite difficult to style on, say, something like an eyebrow. There's several kinds of hair that can be used. Well, more than several, really. What I have to work with here is some synthetic hair, human hair, and some horse hair. There are many others. For example, things like yak can be used, particularly good for beards. Also, I've heard of buffalo. Apparently that's really good for beards. And like things like moustaches or goatees or something like that. With the thicker the hair, so say something, to be fair, I've actually got a fairly all-round, decent-sized punch needle here, but usually the thicker the hair, the wider the needle. The finer the hair, the finer the needle you would want to use. Does anyone know of any alternative materials? Like, I'd really want to try something like wool or like merino wool. I don't know if any of you guys have had a go at this before. If you have with any other alternative materials, please let me know, because I'd be so excited to try something different. I'm guessing it'd be something like flexible, something quite thin. Things that this can be used for are things like masks, cowls, ball caps sometimes, and things like partial prosthesis. So I've just got like, so this is gelatin. This is a much cheaper option than silicone. You can also punch into latex or foam latex as well. So when you're doing, because you wouldn't just punch into a flat slab like this is just for practice. You would usually punch into something with much more shape. So I'm just going to grab some more hair. And again, in the opposite direction to where you think you want to go, punch in and work backwards. But you also don't want to just do a straight line. You want to follow the shape of whatever prosthesis you're doing. So for instance, eyebrows, you might start this way, but you would come around eventually, and as you come around, you would move the needle and the hair accordingly. So, oh, apologies, sorry, I can't see. I'm trying to work with both this and the camera as well, so I went through there slightly. That's not great, but you get the premise. So you can see this is laying horizontally this way. We're coming in more of a diagonal as you work along, and then you would end up oh, by the way, like I said, don't do this. This is just merely to show you the directions. I would never punch this many hairs in one go. But as you can see, I'll just give you a little bit more of a close-up. As you can see, you would start horizontally and then move around diagonally until you get to your vertical. You would also chuck in a few rogue hairs as well, just to make it look a lot more natural. So just move that out of the way. So I'm just going to show you something that I've done a little bit ahead of time. I said you can punch into latex. This is a rat nose prosthesis with some horsehair punched into it. It stands, the hair stands really nice and proud, just like whiskers. With this though, as you can see, the hairs are all sticking out, and that would end up tickling the nose. So what you want to do is pull these out slightly and then secure them with some latex on the inside, and that would just be so much more comfortable for your model to wear. But yeah, I mean it clearly works quite well. I'm just going to show you quickly as well. So I've got a latex, oh, definitely going to have to zoom out, sorry guys. I've got a latex ball cap here. I'm just going to show you that latex can be punched into. I do find it a little bit more difficult, but that may be due to lack of practice. Not sure. I do prefer silicone. Let's see, we're going to get some synthetic hair, I think, and just show you this can be done. So I just want to say, please guys, take care with the needle as well. Be aware of your hand placement and where your fingers are. So yeah, that punches in quite well. There we go. You can see it there. Yeah, that punches in fairly easily. I mean, this is not, in essence, a hard technique to do, but it does require a lot of practice to perfect. I mean, it is a very desirable technique once it's done right. Once it's done right, it looks amazing. Oh, see? There we go. Definitely need more practice with latex. It's slightly harder to punch in. There we go. So we've gone through silicone, gelatin, latex. I did mention foam latex as well, but I have had a little experiment just for you guys. And this is, in essence, it is still silicone, but this is Sculpt Gel Skin Imitator. Just pressed into a mould and left to cure overnight on a radiator. And actually, compared to, I've got some softer silicone here with a bit more Degner in it, it's not far off. It's actually pretty good. So I think for this one, like the latex, I'm going to use some horsehair, just because it gives a really, really good whiskery effect. And zooming so you guys can see, because this is a little bit smaller. There, is that okay? Yeah. I think so. I mean, I could talk about silicone and things all day long, but that's a video. That's a demo for another time, I think. So I'm going to switch to my offhand, which, apologies guys, I'm not quite as good with, but we're learning together. We'll see how it goes, you know. So I want to work backwards. I don't know if you guys can see, sorry, apologies, the lighting's a bit, okay. I was going to work with my offhand, but like, it's not great, and I do want you guys to see. So I'm going to have to turn the prosthesis around and work with my dominant hand. There you go, that's lovely. So I'm just going to snip this off. There are other tools as well with hair punching, but I just want to go through the main ones. But scissors if you are going into styling. So I've just had to snip that off, otherwise the horsehair would be far too long. You can also use like electrical razors, or actually, let me just show you this quite quick. I completely forgot about this, sorry. I've got one of these. Move this out of the way. I know I'm backtracking, but that's just how it is. So you You can see, look, I just created a little stubbly stubble there. There are other things you can use. Again, that's a demo for another time, I think. Things like using gel, wax. I think like Dax wax is actually old school, but quite good for styling, hair punching. So I'm just going to crack on with this. There we go. So you can see how that stands out. Again, working. From the back to the front. There we go. You can see how that horsehair stands. Oh, sorry. You can see how that stands. That horsehair stands nice and proud and like properly whiskery like, which is lovely. I'm just going to do the other side. Oh, again, ignoring my own rules there. It's a case of do as I say, not as I do. So with this one, I am aware of the angle of insertion, but because it's different to an eyebrow, I am going in slightly more vertical rather than horizontal. Missed that one. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. I have got a little bit of a handout to show you. I'll just clear that off. So I don't know if you can see this. This is going to be available. I will post it on my feed, but you can also DM me and I will send it via that way, or if you chuck me your email, I will also email it to you. But it's just running down what we've gone through today, and actually I don't know if you had a chance to see that properly, and some eyebrow templates just so you can practice the directions. If anyone's going to try this, that would be amazing. Please DM me with your results, or even do a post and tag me so I can see what you've been up to. I will be doing this too, but on this gelatin prosthesis, I'm going to take these out and then do it properly and then post, and maybe we can compare some results. That'd be great. But that's all for now. So thanks, guys. I hope you found this helpful, and thank you for watching. Bye.